The gentleman who's seated before us now may have a role in determining the future of Claiborne Temple. Joining us today on A Better Memphis is State Representative and Caucus Chairman, Representative Jesse Chism. The state representative has worked in nonprofits as well as a high school classroom teacher, so bless you for that. He is currently a real estate investor who rehabs houses when he's not working on bills at the legislature in Nashville. So welcome.
Glad to have you with us.
Thank you all for having me.
Now, we'll talk about the Tennessee Black Caucus and the summer tour coming up in just a minute. But first, we as you saw, we touched on Claiborne Temple. Memphis is still reeling from yesterday's tragedy, really. Have you been able to visit the site, and what are your thoughts about it?
Well, my intent is to visit as soon as I leave here. But it's a tragedy that a place with such historic ramifications, it's a shame. But we also have to look at building it back up.
Right.
You know, with a place with such a significance, we have to make sure we preserve those landmarks.
Definitely.
Indeed. All right. Well, a whole lot of the legislation that's coming from Washington, D.C. is frankly going in another direction. For example, one of the bills that will be discussed on this tour that you're about to have is legislation that dismantles DEI. Of course, that means diversity, equality, and inclusion. What's going to be your message to residents as you make this tour about this legislation?
Well, of course, it was a bad piece of legislation. I believe it came from a bad place. And also to let people know that being intentional about diversity is not divisive. You know, I think it's brought our country and our state and our city a long way since 1964, when we became intentional about making sure that people who are normally not seen, that they can be seen. So we want to make sure that when we go across the state, we can, and we hear people's thoughts on things, we also let them know that, you are seen, you are heard, and we want to make sure that as a caucus, we do something different than what the legislature may have done this year.
Another bill that you're probably going to talk about on the tour we'll address is the move to the Human Rights Commission, moving it to the State Attorney General's office. What impact will that have?
So I believe that that was a measure to scale back the Human Rights Commission. The Human Rights Commission have done amazing work since they were formed. They've made sure that we've been intentional about being diverse. They've made sure that they've made sure that they protect people's rights. And we want to make sure that we continue to do that. But I believe that going to the Attorney General, it puts all that power in the hands of one person. And I believe that can be danger in any direction.
All right, let's talk about some bills, legislation that you're proud of that passed this year. You're going to be talking about positive changes that were made by the Tennessee legislature this year, like bills that were approved to make our communities safer. What bills are those? So
this year, I got a chance to pass a bipartisan piece of legislation that helps protect people's privacy. It changes how we do revenge porn. The police department here in Memphis helped us to draft this legislation, because what we found out is you have third parties who are taking intimate images that people are putting together, and they're distributing it without their permission. So we want to make sure we protect those people and also punish those who are doing wrong.
Right. What do you hope to learn from residents as you cross the state? What do you hope to hear from them?
Well, we're going to be looking for allies and ideas. You know, of course, there's no monopoly on ideas, and we want to go across our state to see what ideas people have, things we can put in our tool shed going into this next legislative year.
All right, share some dates with us. When is this going to happen in Memphis and Shelby County? It is the Black Caucus listening tour coming here to Memphis and Shelby County. When is that happening and where?
Okay, so the Black Caucus, we're currently having a whole lot of meetings right now to hammer down those dates. Now, one of the first dates will be here in Memphis, so I'm expecting the end of May, early June, so we can go ahead and get the ball rolling.
But you'll be sure and let us know so we can let everybody know as well.
Absolutely.
Wonderful,
very good.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much for joining us today. Again, this is Tennessee State Representative Jesse Chism. Appreciate
Indeed.
it.
Thank you all so much.
Thank you for being here today. All right, let's talk about going to school. Coming up.